That's Bunny Ware signature. Hello. Hey.
Hello,
It is me,
Mia.
owner of Mia Talks Media and Marketing, hanging out with the one and only Bunny Ware, aka also known as Bunny and the City. This show is going to be jam-packed. I think first and foremost, Bunny and I probably get the same question all the time. What do you guys do? Like, I know you guys have all these titles, but what is it that Bunny Ware does? How long she's been telling the stories of Savannah? And if you are a nonprofit leader, a business owner, a person who spends a lot of time trying to tell people stories via social media, PR, you name it, talking about the community, there's going to be so many resources for you to take away from today. So please have like a pen or have your phone ready to take notes. Also, don't forget to hit the comments throughout the show so we can answer as many questions for you about making media work for you. You don't have to have $1 billion budget. You don't have to have a $500,000 budget, but you got to know the right things and know the right people and make sure that you're out and about and doing good things. We do want to start by thanking our amazing sponsors, the David Pence Allstate Insurance Team. I know they're tuning in. So hi, David. Hi, Angela. Hi, Tammy. They were just recently voted the best of the coastal empire. Let them protect your family by calling them right now at 912-961-9617. Say, hey, I heard Mia and Bunny talking about you. Also, super thank you to our sponsors over at Henry Plumbing Company. We all love Todd, Tanya, Tana Reed. They're always up to something good. Literally, the Ailey Shriners have been all over. NAWIC has been all over. They're just getting two members recognized as Savannah stars with Savannah Technical College. So anything that you need when it comes to bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, fireplaces, fire pits right now, Henry Plumbing Company at 912-352-9827. Again, my name is Mia Mance. You can keep up with past episodes at www.miatalks.com. Bunny, Maya's already checking in saying, hey, because you know what, Bunny? So we have so much in common. We love to talk. We love people. We got big curly hair, but you're like a real life Barbie doll. And I want to get into you explaining to people you have a Barbie Jeep thanks to Step One Automotive, and Maya Zurich is with Step One Automotive. You're running around getting pizza from Donato's. You live this life of constantly just connecting and telling people stories. Can you tell everyone what Bunny Ware does every single day?
I think you're right. You and I are so similar in the fact that we try to connect people. First, I want to say that Jeep experience has been life-changing. When you get an appreciation of cool air on your face, when you get to see nature, and when you pull up somewhere in a protect and serve Jeep in front of firefighters and first responders, and they see that flag on front, I'm telling you, it has been the best response in the last couple of months of me working with Step One Automotive to recognize first responders and veterans and military. So 10 years of me asking Rich Noel and Doug Andrews to say, look, we're losing our living legends. Let me promote them. Let me talk about them on the radio with you, Mia. Let me write about them in the paper. Finally, there's a group of cats that are letting me do what I do. And it's been the best 3 to 4 months of highlighting those veterans. And Step One, I want to give them a shout out to start with for feeding them twice a month, for having first responders, military, and veterans get a meal and appreciate each other and see each other. So that is my, me being a full-size female Barbie in a Jeep is funny. So thank you for that. But I cannot say enough for Step One for letting me drive that thing. I'm getting hopefully a different one this weekend, but I love what they do. But I wanted to come back to what you were saying. For 10 years, I have wrote a column in the paper called Bunny and the City, Savannah Morning News. 10 years ago, when I met the powers that be at the paper, I had a year lapse of working with a restaurant owner named Matt Cohen. Matt Cohen owned the New South Cafe. When I met him, I said, you need a menu, you need music, you need new chairs, you need to be in a tie-dyed shirt, and you need to meet everybody in the room. He said, you should come work for me. I said, I know nothing about restaurants, catering. 3 years later, I knew everything there was to know. I had just left the automotive world where I traveled and talked to men about cars, and those are my favorite things. So men and cars, traveling and talking about cars was my love. When I switched over to an industry I didn't know anything about, I met a character, Matt Cohen, 432-pound fifth generation Jewish guy. He said, come help me. I said, all right. And I did. I learned more than I ever thought I would about that industry. They're overworked and underpaid. During that time, I started taking photos of that chef going to events in Savannah. So I would call Nick Mueller and say, Nick, my chef's coming into your place. Let's do some things together. Let's form this coalition together, and all these chefs do things to help other people. So it ended up working. During that time, the master calendar got started. And now I think Marianne's up to 49,000. But we started that database for the master calendar at the New South Cafe. Fast forward through all the events, I started taking photos of events that I went to. I did about 200 that first year. And Savannah Morning News at the time didn't have a column. And I would call them up every week and say, hey, don't y'all need somebody to write that social column? I'm already going to the events. My background is mass communications, where I made a C in my writing class. And they said, all right, do it. And so 10 years later, I have managed to get in front of everyone from the janitor to the governor. And I think you're like me. I could care less who they are. I recognize good people. And my goal is to represent the little people connecting with the other people to make sure that the good people that do good deeds have a platform. So if it's Mia and us talking about it on Thursday, saying who's doing what this weekend, or the paper giving a paragraph of the good deeds that Tasha Barnes is doing, feeding the children. We have got all these platforms for us to elevate Savannah's good deeds. So that's what I've managed to do for the past 10 years. So that's a little bit of background of where I started at.
So now that everyone knows your backstory, which I didn't even know all of that backstory. So I fully am like, oh my goodness, I had no idea that, a restaurant owner is like, I think you can come in and change everything. Let's talk about what you hear from Savannahans and telling their stories, because I feel like your calendar is always getting booked, and I need to put up your contact information so people know how to get a hold of you. But you brought up great examples. Tasha Barnes, no one had really told her story. And then literally when you simply sat down with her and talked about how literally she's been feeding kids nonstop in West Savannah, just what that acknowledgement and that storytelling for her meant. Talk to me about what you hear from our community about you telling these stories, Bunny.
I think for someone like her who was feeding people out of her front yard, out of her kitchen, little kids would knock on her back door and say, hey, I'm hungry. And I'm like, they come to you. How do they know that you're there? She said, the kids tell the other kids. And I said, I had chill bumps when she told me. I said, what can I do to help you? And she told me about all the different people in the community that one place at a time, they help her. But for people like her, that they do it from their heart, they don't have a TV station or a radio, they don't have the money to advertise, but that's not why they do it. So for helping her, and when my two chefs kitchen, when she was feeding during COVID, every Saturday morning, she was giving away containers of free food to kids and hungry people in her neighborhood. And she would hustle. And then I got other people to go from Lizette Rosselli at Agenda Latina, all the different diversities, because this town, we need to be inclusive. We need to acknowledge the fact that we should all be everywhere. And I will show up. Just tell me where to be. One of my favorite organizations right now is League of Brawn. Hollis Johnson, Justin West, these gorgeous men with hearts of gold have a platform. I said it, Zelonia. And I saw you, Tara Reese, earlier. Zelonia has shown up at event after event. If I call and say, hey, come in, let me make some introductions, because the door's open when we help each other. You never know when you open that door who it's going to benefit. And it's usually, I think, too, the Tashas of the world that we help. They just need somebody like you to spotlight them, or me to introduce them. Because I think Marjorie Young told me, she said, Bunny, you're a connector. She said, that's what you do best. You connect people, and that's your gift. That's your lane. And I've always wanted to stay behind the camera and push everybody else in front of it, because that's what I do best.
So I was laughing, and I do need to do shout outs. Hi, Tammy Toller. Hi, Zelania. Hi, Courtney Rollins of Buy Local Savannah. Tanya Reed, owner of Henry Plumbing. Tara Reese, the lovely Irish Festival team. She's tagged that on the Henry Plumbing page. So if you haven't seen that, Tara, go check yourself out. So I was laughing because So as you're talking about League of Broad, Bunny, now we're going to have some inside tea in this talk because we know each other so well. You will call me and be like, man, he's so hot. And I'll be like,
have you seen Justin West?
Okay, but here's the deal. So I'm expecting you to like list off events, and then you'll start having, and I'm like, it's so. So I was laughing because that's literally how you told me about people.
He is, hey, it's a beautiful group of men. And when I tell my lady friends that there's this beautiful group of guys that are going to show up and help at their event, and then they see them, they're like, okay, I get it. I said, but they're setting the example of how you dress, how you act, how you succeed. And they're going into these schools, they're going into these communities, and they're saying, this is how we did it, and this is how you can do it. And they live and breathe it. And they're a small organization. Not that I don't love my bigger groups. I love them.
Elizabeth Knight from her farmers market. I'm having a brain stretch. 5. What is it? Give me the farmers market, the official name for Elizabeth. That's over there. That's not the Bloom and Grow. What's Elizabeth's farmers market? Elizabeth, type it in the comments so we can make sure we shout you out. But I want to continue, Bunny, into how do people how do they book you? How do they find you? What do they need to know about making sure that Bunny's showing up and able to be a part of their event, please?
Okay. Every Sunday when you see the column in the paper, which is online, we want to tag and share all the groups that do these good deeds. It lists my name, my phone number, my email address. And if you call me and say, hey, I have an event next 11/11, it's the Veterans Day Parade, and it's in Port Whitworth. If I don't have a prior engagement, that's where I'll be. So whoever calls first is where I go. And the column books up really fast. We're in season, and even though COVID happened, everybody switched to outdoor events. I've done 4 golf tournaments, and I've got another one for SD Gunner Friday. So car shows have gotten really big. So if you can find a way to put your event outdoors, Van Johnson, the mayor, has been very good about the outdoor events. He showed up for one last week and was really good about having his photo taken. So he's not giving a lot of pushback on the outdoor because it's separated. We've got our mask on. But if you call me and tell me you've got events, I've got multiple photographers that I work with, and I've got videographers that I work with, and I'm with you. I think the future of social media is that social video content. When you can do a 10-second clip or a 30-second clip, those show me a story, and it's a call to action. And now I'm obsessed with this iPhone Max Pro. I literally turned this, put it in a stabilizing kit, put a light kit on it and a mic, and I've turned into my own little mini TV station, and I can interview people. My intern, Guy Hodge, and I went through the haunted forest the other night with the Alley Temples, and we were the first people through this year. We did a video, and we're editing it now. I said, why? Just take me out of it. He said, you were the best part because you yelled at everybody to get back and leave you alone. I said, that's true.
I told you, that's why I wasn't going in the haunted house with you. I was like, Bunny, I feel like I'll curse you out if I go inside the house.
Y'all got to go. Patrick Welch has done a great job with me, and a way to get in touch with me. Call me. I'm a talker. I'm like you. So reach out to me. The other thing is I get invites at the last minute. Literally at 9:05 Sunday night, the Veterans Council said, hey, our awards are tomorrow night for Veteran of the Year. And then Hugh Futrell with the Kiwanis Club said, we're acknowledging the Firefighter of the Year tomorrow. I said, tomorrow? All right, I'll be there. I'm supposed to be off Monday. But if you say firefighter or veterans, I changed the schedule around and moved that column back. Last minute works in this town. So you've got to stay with your equipment charged up. Everything has to be ready to go because you never know who has forgotten what, and you have to show up. But I think with what I do, because I do have connections with WSAV and with Savannah Morning News and with you, I sort of like cover a trio of bases when it comes to media. And I love South Magazine, so I help some of my photographers get that way because I want to help the story. It's not the station. So if I hear about Tasha and her event, I want everybody to know about it, not just a station or a sponsor, because it's all of us working together to promote her.
So I'm gonna interrupt here for a second because I want to make sure. Hi, LB from the Culturist Union. They've just done a really
Yep.
they've launched their Abode series where they are telling the stories of Black artists across coastal Georgia. So please follow TCU. We've talked about them in a lot of great events they've done during COVID-19. Elizabeth Knight checking in the 5 Mile Bend Farmers Market. That is the there we go. I knew it had 5.
5 Mile. I'm like,
thank you. Thank you, Victoria, for checking in. Thank you, Savannah PD Officer Samantha Sosby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you and all you do.
we love her.
Tammy said she is always down to get scared. Tammy, I will take your word for it. I listen. Real life is scary enough. I believe other people about haunted houses, but I want to hop into. We hit on this a little bit when we talked to Victoria last week about the importance of people telling their stories. And P.S., if you missed my talk with Victoria Baylor last week, scroll down the timeline, hit up www.miatalks.com or YouTube. Such good stuff about personal brand and owning your story. Why do you think that we struggle as a person, nonprofit, business owner to tell our stories? Why am I afraid to say, Bunny, I need your help? Why am I afraid to say, hey, I might need some PR or social media strategy? Why do you think that we're walking around with these fears in this amazing, beautiful, blessed, vibrant community? Help us overcome that barrier of needing media help.
I think for the strong dominants like you, my women that are all inclusive, they're used to taking care of everyone. We're taking care of everybody else. So it's hard for you to ask for help. I have learned to ask for help, to say, I can't do it. I'm not good at it. Somebody good with technology, come help me. Adam Avant, help me. I'm not bothered anymore by it. It took a lot of years to let myself not think I'm weak, because it takes strength to ask. Now I don't mind asking, but I think what's lacking in our community is most people know their industry, but they don't know another industry. I know how the media works. I know how that press release, when you send it, how fast it turns, how many reporters are in that day, how busy a Monday afternoon is compared to a Saturday morning. If you only have one reporter in on Saturdays and it's a Guyton event, guess what? It's not going to happen. So I know the back end of it. Most people don't know that you have to understand the media that you're trying to deal with radio, how you can do things ahead of time, the tricks of the trade for that. Most people don't understand how to use it. And I think our PR firms in town, Jennifer, Marjorie, Cecilia, Mary, and Leslie, they understand that you've got to form a relationship with the media, and the media's changed. Every 2 years, you get a new reporter at these TV stations. You've got to understand that you've got to take care of them. And here's a tip. If you're at an event and you see someone show up with a big camera or anybody with a mic, go up to them, say hello, thank you for coming, offer them something to drink, ask them if they want some food to take home. Carrie Hilliard yesterday put bags together for everyone that showed up for the firefighter of the year. So anytime you see those guys, they don't have to come. They're not always paid very well. So be nice to the people that show up for your events. They didn't have to do that. So, and they're not paid that much. The guys that are showing up, I wish for them pay raises. They have to cover accidents, murders, all the bad stuff that you see. They get to do all that. So always introduce yourself to the people at that. But as far as my nonprofits, everyone is struggling. Everyone is fighting for every dollar, because it's just been the year with none of us expected. If you can make a relationship with someone like you or with me to say, hey, where's my best resource or avenue? Have a 1 hour conversation with them to get some tips. There's a lot that you can do yourself. There's a lot that you can do as far as going to the right places. I've got Joe Higgins going to Party in the Pines Saturday night. I said, I'm not sure if you're a Republican or Democrat. I said, I don't discuss politics. It's not my job. My job is to introduce you to people that will support veterans. And there's no affiliation, left or right, that doesn't support a veteran. So I'm taking Joe to introduce him to some people that he needs to know, because they need to support. Oh my gosh, if you knew the stories of my veterans right now, it just breaks my heart, because they need help. They need everything from transportation to, mainly, they're lonely. You wouldn't believe the things that are going on in that world. But when you've got resources like we have, forming people getting to know other people that are in it. Marianne's database is priceless. 49,000 people that goes out on a Monday morning. Marjorie Young with 25 years of doing this. She was there when SCORE started. She's a resource in herself. Jennifer Abshire with the contacts that she has around the state. And I tell people, when you're ready for Jennifer, be ready for Jennifer, because it's a whole different level. And I think we all have our strengths. Kara Ford and Neely Dunn. I refer different people to different people for whatever it matches, because I think there's a right match for all people. And sometimes you don't need anything but a press release, just to introduce who you are to the people that matter and get some visibility from it, so it gives you credibility. So number one, do a press release. That would be my number one biggest tip. Press release what you do.
And it's totally okay to, as you see Victoria saying here, that many people will consider not knowing as being a sign of weakness. I think the smartest people build dynamic teams, right? So instead of going, I have to do my media, my marketing, I've got to do this, I've got to do all of these things by myself, you hire the people who are going to, or hire and partner. That could be barter. There could be all types of things and conversations that you have with people that will help you. Because I also think, as you said, Bunny, when you're so busy in the business of what you're doing, that's so consuming, especially right now. So knowing that you can have someone to cover video, knowing that you can have someone who, masterminds all of your social media, knowing someone else is covering your brand messaging, knowing someone's covering your events. Thank you, Camilla, saying facts. That's the dynamic team. Now, let me add to this, Bunny, and I can say this with you and I, we trust each other. I 100%, if you call me, if you say I need, if you say help, however it comes, I trust you. And I think it takes trust to not just ask for help, but then to also know someone's going to show up on time, they're going to commit. Absolutely, you've now given them your time and your money, and they are 100% invested in you the same way. And I get that trust, because sometimes people get burned, or they might have hired somebody, or they might have had a partner. And, now it's like, wait a minute, I've got to trust. And so I understand that can be also, just having those people that are going to be there for you, that can also be something to overcome as well.
I think I had an issue. I think I probably talked to you about this earlier. In 10 years of me dealing with media, if you tell me not to say something, I don't say it. If you don't, I've worked in automotive, and you can only go by what people tell you and you not repeating it. And in Savannah and in the South, we're all talkers, but I think the news outlets wouldn't trust me with their information if they knew I would abuse that. So for me, I've had some trying times, because if someone thinks that I'm saying something, that is my credibility. There's no doubt of that. Of all the things that I do, I show up early, I show up on time. When you called and said, hey, Todd Reed is going to be with his Shriners at the VFW on a Saturday morning. I was supposed to be there for 15 minutes. I said, I'm going to do a quick video. I'm going to do it. An hour later, I was still there because I couldn't leave. It was such a magnificent event. Those vehicles were coming in. The bikes were coming in. There were hundreds of people showing up to support it. If you ask, I'll go. And I think you and I both have that relationship, that your heart is good, mine is too. So we can do wonderful things to support those people that need the visibility. They didn't ask for money. I didn't ask for it, because it wasn't that type of situation. I went to an auction right after that at the Red Door Auctions, because I had to have that punk steam lamp that I got for $40. And I said, I'm going to do a quick video while I'm here. It got a ton of hits, because action shows what's going on in Savannah, and I think it works. The platform that we're in right now, in the social media, like you said, a person can do this, a person can do that, all the different things. Even if you only do one element of it, start there. Start with a 30-second clip that introduces the world to who you are. Tag the Mariannes and the Camillas. I just want y'all to know, Camilla Flynn for me is a rock star. I know she is one of Oprah's 50 ambassadors. I called her and said, hey, come by Step One and let's mic you up and let you do an interview for these firefighters and police officers. She said, I'm on it. I'll be there. She shows up all fashionista and does her thing. So I've got another one for you, Camilla, at the Veterans Parade. They're going to do it on 11/11. I'd love to have her.
Booking.
Yes, we need to do that parade.
Could not be on here. Shout out again to Latasha Barnes. She's joined us. Make sure that y'all support her and all of her initiatives to feed the children in West Savannah. Victoria Baylor saying yes to camaraderie and trusted connections. Let me make sure, as Elby said here, establish transactional partnerships and bartering is key. Camilla checking in. I love you, Bunny. Bunny, let me move into because you're everywhere, right? So we've talked about TV relationships, radio relationships, social media, news, PR. Help people who are like, I need some spotlight. No one's telling my story. It's not being covered. I feel like I'm doing fantastic work. I'm making an amazing product. I have a dynamic service, and I have zero visibility. Let's move people out of the zero visibility plane into how to be visible.
The number one thing I do is that master calendar comes out and it lists the events for the week. Find something in that list. If there's 20 events, find 2 things in that group for that week that's in your field or that could be interesting for you. Look at the people that are going. Find if there's someone in common. Go with someone that you know. But you're going to go there and you're going to meet 5 people. I don't know why this is hard for people. And I'm going to call out, you know who on this, David Pence. When I first met him, I said, David, you are going to meet 5 people in this room that you don't know. Bunny, I'm not good at that. I'm good at talking. I said, but in 2 years, 3 years, you're going to be a master at it. I watched him the other day on your Zoom call and I snuck in. I'm like, look at David Pence. He has got this down. He's good in front of people. He knows to introduce himself. That is a hard thing for people to do. A lot of people
never know that about him, Bunny. You never know that though. Like
you would
David
never think it.
He's helping
He is so
everybody.
good at it.
He leads a dynamic office. That's such a, hold on, not such a ding, 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 ding. One, make yourself uncomfortable. Okay, so let's be uncomfortable. I think let's find one event, one group that you've never thought of, never gone like, that's not even on my radar. Let me be uncomfortable and bring newness into my space. Let me do my business pitch. You know, they would go, I'm a communications grad, and they would always say, you got to be ready to pitch at any given time, right? Like, got to be ready to talk to people. And y'all know I talk to everybody. But connecting with people, and maybe it's on social media. I literally did this, Bunny, and I know you do this all the time. Met a new business owner. I was like, boom, 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 boom. Let me connect you to this person, this person, this person, because the more people that you know that you can connect with, and if it's an Instagram follow, a DM, whatever, just bringing more people into your sphere. And it doesn't have to be people you go, oh, that's a person I totally vibe with. There are people who I've never met in person, and in some way in a DM, I'm like, hey, I think I can connect you here, even if I don't know you physically. So go ahead, Bunny, continue.
That and everybody knows somebody. And I think the degrees of separation of this town are a little bit more extreme because everybody knows someone. And I call it a spider web. The door that you open, you don't know who knows someone that you know. I met a person the other day and they told me who they knew. I said, oh my gosh, I've worked with them in the past. Let's call them and make a full circle. I think some of the organizations that I've worked with in the past, when it's a one person, when it's just one organization and it's a single mom and she doesn't have time, I'm like, what do you need? What can I find for you? There's people like me and you that are resources for the community because we're in front of so many different people. And as far as that master calendar telling you where to go and what to do, if you can't go, find a way even once a month to go. You've got to go. It's like dating. You can't date if you're sitting at your house. No one's knocking on your front door. You've got to get out of your house and go out there and meet people. You have got to
be good. That was good. Say that again, Bunny. Just say it again. Just say it again so people can re-quote that, like tweet it.
It's like dating. No one's knocking on your front door. If you want to meet people, they're not coming to your front door. You've got to get out and introduce yourself to this town. It's extremely accepting. When I started 10 years ago, it was probably 70-30 local to out of town. It has switched. It's probably 60-40. Most of the people I meet are not from here. I met some of my Benedictine guys Sunday night at the Excel Strategies, which I got to tell you about Excel. I was I've always been a fan of Jay Thompson, but I'll tangent back to that. Those people that don't know each other, if there's a way that you can get to one event and let someone introduce you around, I always take you and meet you with 5 people that you don't know. And that works. Everybody, we all know each other. This town's not that big. That 40% that's now local and 60% of people from everywhere else, they're bringing in things that a lot of us don't know. Their gifts and their strengths and their expertise are in different fields. So when they come into Savannah with information we don't know, they meet our locals that know everybody. So it will work.
So
you
that's
just have
interesting.
to get out.
Hold on, pause right here, because I feel like there is the from here, there is the transplant. And I feel like both are absolutely essential, right? But I think, at least like in my very short six and a half years that I've lived in Savannah, that there was a very clear conversation of you're not from here, so therefore. And I did not let that sit in my heart, because I understand that not only are the people who are from here are valuable, but that I bring value into how I show up service to Savannah. So that's interesting that there is maybe a shifting of, obviously, being born here, from here, having the history, having the struggles, having the ability to tell the stories of Savannah specifically at different times, 100% important, but also being able to recognize that what is coming in also brings value. And I feel like that's kind of, especially from a supporting our community side, to businesses advancing and people bringing more jobs and opportunities here, that whoever is here on October 7th at 2020, we are all in this together. So if you are in it, we are in it, and we're going to, push for the city together. So that's a really interesting point. And I'm sorry to kind of have a sidebar on it, but I do feel like that, some people would go, oh, you're not from here. Well, what does that mean? I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my hardest for Savannah, because that's what's on my heart to do. Right?
You're absolutely right. When I got here 10 years ago into this industry, I didn't know how well I would transition, because I worked automotive and it's very aggressive, very quick. I didn't know if I could handle the nice, sweet Southern ladies and how polite they were, because I'm extremely direct and happy and aggressive. And it worked fine. But I learned to ask this. I would say, hey, where are you from? They'd say Savannah. And I would say, what school did you go to? It tells me everything about you. If you're Calvary, Savannah Christian, Country Day, Windsor Forest, Jenkins, all of that tells me a little bit about that person. That has changed significantly. Now when I go, I'm like, where are you from originally? Because I hear that accent or lack of accent. The people that I meet from Ohio, New Jersey, New York is my top 3. I meet more people from those states than I do anywhere else. But I think that they bring in that promptness, that aggressiveness, that business side to things. But then when you meet our locals and their spider web of connections, it's a priceless way to network and blend the two. A good example, Courtney Rollins, I met when I first moved here. I was shooting photos for fun with Savannah Dan, and Courtney and I would shoot pictures together. Segue later, I said, Courtney, you should leave that banking job behind. You're social. You need to get out. You need to do things. I said, you should be on Buy Local. You should join and be with employability. And now she's the president of Buy Local. She's not from here. If you have that personality, if you have that way of introducing yourself and bringing other people in and promoting them, you will succeed in this town. If you are genuinely interested in helping people. The Tara Reeses, which I call the Queen of Pooler, she is all into her Irish heritage. I wish we could move to Ireland at times, but the Gaelic Athletic Association, what she's doing with them. Caleb Harkleroad, he's a local. Those two together have made that an organization. They're going to their first, they're going to play in Orlando against fellow people. And I couldn't even tell you what the Gaelic Athletic Association's hurling is. I've watched it 6 times. I still don't know what they're doing, but it's incredible to hear those Irish guys have spirited conversations together. But Tara's a good example. She's not from here. Courtney's not from here. But then you've got a Caleb Harkleroad. You mix a local with someone from out of town, and it is a great recipe for who you need to know and what they all can bring to the table.
Okay, so let's recap this. Hitting up Savannah Master Calendar, finding once a week how to make yourself uncomfortable, putting yourself in a new space. If you can't do it once a week, finding something once a month to go and give yourself at least 5 people that you can connect to that are brand new people to you. You also covered the importance of we all have to be open to each other. So valuing exactly what makes Savannah great, and then also being able to go, if something new comes in or someone comes in from a different city or a different state, that there is a level of we grow together, right? As the city of Savannah, that there is a level of togetherness, which y'all know I'm all about that. That we have things to learn from each other. And again, people will surprise you of who will help you, of who will support you, of who will invest in your business. I would encourage anyone, when it comes to looking at dynamic partnerships, I think, there's a lot of opportunities when it comes to advertising or promoting things to partner with someone who can be an ally to your brand. So if you guys know, like I work in the beauty space, or I work in the jewelry space, or I work in the auto space, who can you partner with? Much like what you were talking about with Maya partnering with you, finding a dynamic partner that can also carry some weight and telling your story, so that just like Victoria and I, we teamed up, just like you and I, going, let's collaborate so we can be more helpful to more people.
I agree. One fabulous example is Tara O'Sullivan at the Grand Lake Club, single mom, 3 kids. I said, she said, Bunny, I want to help women. I said, I need you to meet Cheryl Branch. Last year I had Cheryl Branch come out, and I said, I'm telling you ahead of time, Cheryl Branch is me. She's direct, aggressive. You never know what she's going to say, and you're going to love her. They hugged each other when they saw each other, and finally, a year later, they're having a spa open up at the Grand Lake Club in Southbridge. I said, how about let's feature the women that work at the Safe Shelter, the 22 women that work every day. Let's have them come out for the next year, work with them, put them through this massage program, or treating them, or giving them that treatment. So I reached out to Jennifer Davenport, the president of the Safe Shelter Board. She's also the assistant county manager for Chatham County. So last week, Jennifer and I went together and said, what do you think of us working together? Tara, you, Cheryl, everybody that we can get together to help the women that are helping the women. And she said, what do you want us to do? I said, we're just at the starting point, but everybody says yes. Most people don't say no. When you have women that want to help, not that it's just women, but for some reason we've got a lot of time right now to devote to others. So I'm telling people, pick something that you're passionate about, and Tara's very passionate about that. So we're going to do some things. Tara and I made her leave last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago. I said, Tara, you've worked 70 hours. You're going to leave the building. You're going to meet me at Bella's, and you're going to eat pasta for 1 hour. You're going to pick 1 hour of this week that you're going to have for yourself. So she comes in. I've already eaten my little bowl of breadsticks by then. And the owner of Bella's walks by. She says, Bunny, you're just who I want to talk to. I want to feed some people, and I want to know that they need it. I said, I am your right person. I will find you women, men, hungry children that need your food. So I called her yesterday. I said, I'm talking with Edward Richards at St. Joseph's Candler on the women in the cancer programs right now. What do they need during this month? Do their families need food? Are they able to have food? So Edward Richards and I are going to talk about that. If y'all haven't met Edward Richards at St. Joseph's Candler, let me tell you, when I met him and he walked into my office at my doctor's appointment in his blue cowboy boots, and he's extremely beautiful, I said, no, you are not going to be my doctor. But he has ended up being someone that I say, I love you when I hang up. 5 years later, I love him and what he does to save women's lives, especially. So from that one conversation with Tara, to Safe Shelter, to Davenport, to Edward Richards, to Bella's, all of that, it's just one connection that just keeps going. It'll come full circle. And these women that do well because we are supportive of each other. And Marjorie Young, we've been talking about you and your 25 years of We know that you're the queen. We know what you do.
And author of Reputation Matrix. Hello, Jules De Jesus. Fritz as well, checking in of Jules Loves Me. Thank you, Elizabeth Knight. Everyone that is in the comments. Victoria just saying, maximizing your networking. Some great tips. So now I'm going to do something really uncomfortable for you, and I'm going to make you talk about you.
Okay.
And I want to talk about, you actually have a full service company for people who are watching this, where you offer everything from video to dynamic press releases. You offer a lot of services, event coverage, you name it. I've hired you for different things as well. Again, I am all about collaboration, y'all. Like, I can talk to you about social media, marketing, PR, radio, people. Those are my things. Like people, social media, and marketing. I can handle that. But I often will call you, Bunny, and go, I need help with, and I try to, and I'm a very fair person, where if there's any way that I can keep it local. Let's talk about, Bunny, your company and what you do for everyone so they can support you, please.
Well, I think a lot of people realize that when I write a column, that's for the Savannah Morning News. So every week I go to a different event. And for the 10 hours it takes for me to write 700 words and do 12 photos, because I'm not a good writer, I can't focus long. And my skill set isn't there. My skill set is in, when I meet you, finding out what you do, finding out what you need. That's what I do well. And I'm getting them to do what I need them to do very quickly, I think, is my skill set. But I think when I'm able to introduce you to who you need to know, your business grows, which means you'll be able to help me hire my 3 videographers. I've got 3 guys right now, call them ABCs. I've got somebody that's so good that could be on television. And then I've got my intern guy that is with me when we go to events now. He's like, Bunny, I want to do it. I want to do the Haunted Forest. I want to do the rally. I want to do the race. And I can't make him leave. But those are the people I'm looking for to work with, that are eager, that are excited, that want to tell the story of someone else. So if I can do that with, I'm not skilled that great. I'm not telling you that I'm bad at press releases. I help people that need it at the last minute, that can't afford the good PR firms that have the skill set. If you need something to go out quickly just for media to know and give them a heads up, I think I'm your source. I'm not a Marjorie. I'm not a Cynthia. I'm not that person, but I've got the same connections that they do, because I'm there to help the story. And I think I'm not trying to get in anyone else's way, but I'm trying to help the little people get their foot in the door with who they don't know. And the Veterans Council, when they called me at 9:05 Sunday night, I said, did you do a press release? They said, no. I said, I'm going to have to do one. It's 9:05. So at 11:30, I finished it. But the next day, Fox showed up, another station, and Savannah Morning News. They were the cover on Savannah Morning News today. So he called back. He said, we get it. We understand. I said, if they don't know you have an event that's happening, how are they supposed to be there? You've got to step into their world to understand how they work and what they do in order to get results from it. And I think that's probably what I see best. Some people need to know about it on radio. Some people need television. Some people need, I think everybody needs social media. I think it's the number one way to go right now. And I think video. So if I can help you with a 10-second, 30-second, a minute. You and I were talking earlier about a client that may need a 5-minute video. I said, that's exactly what they need to show. I said, there's no one less expensive than my guy. I share him quietly with people in town because I don't want them to steal him from me, because he's so talented, because he's got a big heart. You know, when somebody's got a great gift and you can feel it, that's the people that I want to work with. The good people of the world, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think one of my gifts, Tara said, Bunny, how do you know? I said, have you ever noticed who I don't talk to? She said, I said, think about it. If I don't make an effort to go out of my way, I don't need to know them. I said, that's the way I look at it. The people that I have in my life are exactly who need to be there, because I'm really good at knowing when they're good people. I've been surprised once in this past year, and it's been a bitter pill, but it's a lesson learned to take business as business. It's not personal. You've got to do your job. I think.
So, Bunny, hold on. You're having people say share. I would love more information. I'm going to repost FYI Kizzy, her contact information here, so you can.
Y'all know to call me. I'm a talker.
Yes. Do you want to drop your phone number so people can put it on their phone and save you?
Absolutely. I'm a 912-844-1122. I've had it forever. That's 844-1122. And you can share it. People say you shouldn't, but I've had good luck with not being had a friend have his number hacked, and it has not been a good situation for him. But I haven't got to that. I'm all about sharing my phone number because that's business. That's how you get it. And
so you're just pinging over here. People are like discernment that you're dropping and like and navigating their path to success. David Pence gave you a shout out to the cowboy boots. Keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and I think too. One thing I love about David Pence, when I remember meeting him, and he told me how he stayed behind during that last hurricane, and he went door to door and did calls to the people in those neighborhoods to let them know what was happening, if there were any animals, if there were properties. I said, you know what, that says a lot about somebody, that they're interested. It's not just I'm going to take their money and be their insurance agent. This is me showing you that I care about you. And I think that was the thing that I remember 3 years later, that conversation. So I yelled at him the other day. I said, are you seriously the sponsor of this event? And I didn't know it. I'm coming to take your photo, and I'm taking your pictures, and we're going to introduce you to some people that, because he's that laid back guy behind the scenes. He doesn't want to be out front. And I've always say, no, when you do good, we need to see good, and we need to have an expectation of it. So I can expect other people to do the same thing. You have got to step up and be seen.
To toot his horn, I will say when we started these Mia talks, the only goal was simply to be of super service, right? And there was some backstory about how I ended up here, because this was not in my plan. And I was able to have a very transparent conversation with David Pence and the team of Tammy and Angela. And it was to invest in others. And I just love that his commitment to invest in others, no matter what's going on, it's so consistent. And I can say the same about you, Bunny. And I have to keep us on track here because we only have so much time. Let me make sure that I've got the contact information for Bunny that's here. A little secret, and Bunny pretty much nailed this. We all really work together. And if it's shouting out CJ the DJ from 94.1 The Beat, who just lost his mom after a very, 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 very long COVID battle. If it is having information from other people in this town about what's going on and how to support it. If it was Westland Bauer, shout out to Lady Mahogany. We had conversations a long time ago about how do we sit here and discuss what's best for Savannah so that people don't get so caught up in the outside of what we do that we're not thinking about Savannah first. Renee LaSalle, like making sure, hey, I've got someone that you need to talk to. Can you talk to this person to help this person out? If it's Tybee MLK and Live Like Locals is making sure that people know how to support that. We do really work together. And that, I mean, it could be Marjorie, Cecilia, Marianne, Kendra, Good Cause Marketing, the TV across the board. There's not a time where I don't feel like we can't ask or ask them for something. So it's really a reflection of, as we're having this talk, y'all, like, there are so many people who are at the seat of your success. And if it's making an ask, hey, I need help with getting this press release out, or hey, Marjorie, you're doing water cooler talk. Can I be a guest to talk about what I'm doing in the community? It's totally okay. Let me give you permission. As Bunny said, it's like going on a date and putting yourself out there. Just ask. And all someone can say is no. People, you can ask me anything, and all I can say is, yes, I can make it happen, or no, I can't, or I can't do it right away, but give me enough time. And it might not be tomorrow, but can you give me some time to help figure it out? So like making that ask, I have a great event that's coming up, and I want to get it out to the TV stations. Drop a DM to somebody like a Tina Tyashaw or Frank the Big Guy from WJCL, or I'm having a blank, Don Baker and all the team over at WTOC. But these are people who are, hands down for Savannah all day, every day. So that's my thoughts on just connecting you more too.
I agree. You've got people that I told Tina a while back. I said, Tina, when you open your mouth, I believe you. I said, that's all you have to do. And I know that if I call her and say, Justin West, they're giving away 200 bicycles tonight, she can make something happen. Bunny, send me the story, send the story. Because Don Baker's done this so long. And Frank Sulkowski, if he loses any more weight, I'm going to be mad because I like him big. But you can see him coming. You know that he genuinely loves what he does. And I think I get to choose to do what I do every day. I don't have to do it. I don't have children. I don't have debt. I don't have the things that other people have that requires them to do it. I get to pick and choose every single day what I want to do. And that's a gift that I get to help. Everything that I do is because I wanted to do it. And most people don't get that golden opportunity. I shouldn't be traveling in 3 weeks, but I'm going because I haven't been to Salem, Massachusetts to see Halloween. And I'm going, and I'm safe. My doctors tell me I would have had it by now, but I'm going to be safe. The flights there's nobody on them, but I get to do what I want to. And when you call me to say, hey, will you go do this? This person's doing this. Absolutely. I want to do it because I want the city to do well. And seeing the good deeds of this town, I'm always stunned at how much we're able to give in a town that's we're not a lucrative, high-end, you know what I mean? We're right in the middle, but we somehow manage to take care of our own. And that, I think, is why I continue to live here, have the relationships with the Chris Sweats and the Mary Ann's. You know, if I call you and tell you I'm taking Mary Ann's kids somewhere and picking them up so she can have a few hours, that's some love, because that woman gives and gives and gives. You give and give. And having those relationships, I think, if y'all don't believe that women can't work together, this is an example that it can. I pick and choose my people very carefully, and I want all of us to do well. But especially, and Mia, the platform that you give us for your heart, we see you. We see exactly what you are. We know the minute you say something that is coming from a good place, and you always say that it's coming from a good place. We see that too. We see you for what you are. And you know, I love you. I'm hugging you from here. And if somebody hasn't told you today that you're our gift, you're our gift.
No making me cry. Jennifer Abshire tried to do that earlier when I was hanging out with the United Way. Y'all know I like to cry. I will say this. Oh, God, there's so much more we could talk about. I'm going to try to do a quick recap, and then we got to get out of here.
Yes.
Y'all, let me just pop up Bunny's info one more time. She has shared with you her 10 years of hard work and knowledge of learning not just the industry of media and what she does, but learning other people's industries and going in and going, okay, let's bring people together. Let's tell these stories. Let's show up for people. Let's be present for them, for our first responders, for our military heroes, acknowledging when new people are in your space. I think that's a big one too, because a lot of times, and this is like events, sometimes we can be comfortable in our circle. And I'm always the person that, like, part of why I go and talk to everyone is I want everyone to know that they're valued for being in that room and that they gave their time and their money and their donation or just their presence and made time to be in that room. So when you welcome or you see someone who's come in for the first time and they know no one, just making them feel included, I think that's a big gift, because they might be an introvert. You never know. This might be their first event. So it's such a big deal because they've been so busy running their business that they're now being visible. So seeing the faces that don't get seen in the room. And then I also think it's making sure, pressing people's DMs with your information, with your event. So if you feel like, hey, I've got this event, and it could be this weekend. Shout out to Fight for the War Within. They're doing their car and Jeep show this weekend, and that's dedicated to PTSD and to veterans. They're a brand new organization. Hit people's DMs, send an email, right? And anything that you can so that people can try to, that it's on our radar. I think that's super duper critical. You heard Bunny say, maximize Savannah Master Calendar. Maximize that resource. There's always things going on. And then getting to know these new groups, because I know you mentioned League of Brawn. We shouted out Tasha. We've got the 5 Mile Farmers Market. You wanted to talk about Excel. Do you want to share about that before we wrap up? I don't want to forget that thought that you had, Bunny.
Jay Thompson works with different organizations. He gets 15 to 23-year-old young men that have had either financial difficulty, personal loss, injury, something that's happened. And he goes in and mentors them, builds character, helps them get a job, and then he segues into professions, traded skills with Coleman Company to get them to be engineers or Georgia Ports Authority. So he's literally putting the groundwork in for these guys to succeed. And Sunday night, they awarded 4 people Men of the Year and their stories. I'm like, this is, if you don't know about Jay Thompson with Excel, you need to know. And what you said earlier, my thing is if I go into a room and I see someone sitting alone, that's who I go to. I can't stand it. Somebody to come somewhere and not know someone and to feel unwelcome is my pet peeve. It's what I gravitate to because I want them to know who they need to know. That is, find that person and help them because they don't know. Everything else you said, I agree. All of it. And I know that you have to round this up, but I just want to say thank you for what you do.
I love you. You guys, these comments that you directed towards me, I can't even handle it. Y'all will make me cry and I won't be able to wrap this show up. So I thank you, see you, and thank you, Alondia. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you, David Pence. Thank you, Elby. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in. The most important thing that you can do after watching this is share this with others. This is meant to be shared. This is for us all to grow together and to understand you don't need $1 million or 10 people to be your marketing team. That there are people giving you the tools so you can be successful as an individual, a nonprofit, or a business owner. And on a ground level, the more that we support each other in this time and every single day, the better all of us are and the better our community is. So I am going to say another thank you. David Pence, Allstate Insurance Team. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, David. Thank you, Angela, for all you do. Veteran-owned business right here in Savannah. You can contact them 912-961-9617. Voted the best of the Coastal Empire. Thank you, Henry Plumbing Company, Todd and Tanya Reed. You can contact them for all of your plumbing needs at henryplumbingco.com or 912-352-9827. We'll have another show coming next week. I'll have more details about that out a little bit later this week. Bunny, you and I are on the radio every Thursday on G100, 3 o'clock hour, 5 o'clock hour. We are talking good deeds. So if you have watched this and you're like, I have an event this weekend, guess what? DM us right now. That's where Bunny's contact info is. DM me at Mia Mance or at Mia on the radio on the gram. All the past episodes, www.miatalks.com. Until next week, love you guys.
Love you, love you, love you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you share this talk. All right, Bunny, stand by.